Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Shop Talk Live. My name is Rick Ramirez, also known as Rick's 2 Cents, along with my fellow co-host, Steve from Steve Makes Everything.
Howdy, y'all.
Roger from Roger's Shop.
Howdy, howdy.
And Skyler from Skyler's Woodworking.
Hi, everyone.
Have you changed the name of your channel yet? Is it still
I have
Sawdust?
not, but I have changed that handle. It's not Woodworking with Skyler. It's Skyler Woodworking, because that's my website name. So
nice. Yeah, I think if it's all uniform, it'll kind of come together.
Yeah. Good branding.
I use this app that gets all my SEO scores, and it does all the backlinks, and that's why I told you that before. If you made them like one uniform, I think you'd probably double our views.
Right. I would change my channel name too. It's just that I feel like I really like the Sawdust and Splinter, so I wanted to kind of keep it.
I know. So my biggest thing was that my name is like a serial killer's name. So
yes, I was going to mention that if you were related or anything.
Yeah. So if you Google my name, I would never come up. So the Rick's 2 Cents thing, and then my name allowed me to be able to come up. So now I do come up, but it took me to do a lot of back end stuff to make my name appear in the search engine.
For me, there's I think it's a baseball player, Skyler Ewing, that was big. So it's like every time you Google Skyler Ewing, he pops up.
Right.
Chris said, if you Google my name, you'll come up with a corrupt banker, which is not me, obviously, but a very rich corrupt banker.
I did see you, I think, one time in a post office.
Yeah.
Chris said, no problem. I thought I was already a member, but must have one of the other 7 channels I joined. All right, Chris. It says new member now.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris there earlier. He became a member of my channel, at least.
Nice.
And thank you, Chris.
So obviously we're here for live questions and answers. Any questions at all, let us know. Sorry I wasn't able to join the live last week, but I'm here today.
So I see you guys have some discount imports on blanks now for the next 90 days. You should be ordering things by the truckload right now.
I already ordered slate coasters.
I have 550 slate coasters. I don't make that many, so I think I'm good for the year.
That would be more than my lifetime dose.
Yeah, I don't make any slate coasters other than testing them for laser reviews. But
yeah, that's all I use them for. Too.
So I did. Thank you for sending me that the coaster you made on that Oofy. That is, man, I should grab it. That was awesome. I didn't even think about doing it on the coaster like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, those blanks are pretty cheap too, so it's really cool. You get them on a pack of 100.
Yeah, I like
the ceramic ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that you take traditional woodworking and add a creative twist to things. That's what first initially kind of drew me to your channel and the boxes you make. And that's why I made fun of Daniel so much, because I was like, dude. I actually joined his live yesterday. He's like, man, how have you guys been? But yeah. So I got good news. This morning I received a tracking number from UPS saying that my CNC will be here Friday.
Whoa.
Wow. Nice.
You're going to have to post a picture of the big pile of boxes on the Facebook group.
Let me see. Because let me tell you how many tracking numbers it actually was.
There's at least 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.
Oh, they must have figured out how to compress them. Must be putting 2 things in a box now. And
I'll have to set up the notifications on my the cameras to make my phone go off. So if I can catch them pulling all of that, it'd be kind of funny. Because if it's anything like you said, Steve, or pretty much it's its whole truck, that definitely make a funny video.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing weighs 150 pounds or something too, right? So it's a lot of stuff.
That's cool.
This is a box I'm working on now. I'm trying to make this one with a snake as a handle for the drawer.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
I saw you doing that.
Carving.
Yeah, like the indent kind of creating the texture.
The box itself is going to have a channel that is textured all around it. And then because the snake has texture, but the front panel doesn't have texture. So I feel like that's going to pull it all together.
No, I think that was super cool. we talk all the time too, is that like someone can try to steal your idea, but a concept, I guess. But when you have creative things like that, like good luck, like good luck.
Well, I mean, we can all try to make the same thing, and it's not going to look the same. We all have different visions, different skills, and
yeah. Mark said he Googles his name, nothing came up.
I haven't done any ego surfing lately, so when I Google my name, I get at least 10 pages on Google.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Of you or other people?
Mostly me.
Oh, nice one.
I get a lot of my photography stuff, like all the websites where I have photos and show up and that stuff.
Yeah, there was some guy with my name who was ran some Pipe Smokers of America club out of Iowa somewhere. Drove a Harley. It's so not me. None of that is me, right?
Jim said it's hot in Chicago. Yes, it was definitely a warm day today.
Yeah, it was a warm one today. 87 here today.
Jim, did you get your tumblers engraving properly now?
So with the CNC here, any advice, Steve, or what my first project should be?
Oh, make a sign for your shop, or make your logo, put it in a 4-foot long piece of wood and hang it up above your lasers there so people can see it on live.
Have you guys tried that bamboo wood?
Yeah.
You've tried it?
Yeah.
Skyler,
every dollar store cutting board is made out of bamboo.
I don't use bamboo. I don't like bamboo. I'm sorry.
I saw that you use that tricolor plywood, right?
Tricolor plywood?
It was like 3 or 4 different colors in the different layers.
Oh, when you
I have some of that. Yes.
Yeah.
You
can do that with hardware store plywood too.
How's that?
Well, if you go down
to it yourself,
you'll get at least 3 different tones. They won't be different colors. It'll be lighter
these are like
and darker
completely
wood.
Different colors.
No, this is like bright blue.
Yeah,
white,
I know. Yeah.
light blue.
Yeah, totally different colors.
Yeah, I want to make some plywood geometric shape like pattern for like a box lid with it. That's what I bought it for.
Oh, that's cool. So Rick said, "Hey all, Rick from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. It's in Roger and R's backyard. We're in Illinois. Appreciate you joining. You gotta watch out for those Rick guys.
Mount Pleasant sounds like the nicest place on earth.
Pleasant, Mount Pleasant.
Hey, Chris. We have a lot of Ricks and a lot of Chris's tonight.
Oh yeah, we're Chris and Rick today. Jack said, I'll answer that after I wake up and clean my 3D printers and lasers. I had someone today, actually, I posted one of my flower boxes I made, and someone said that they bought their laser, they haven't used it in 2 months because they hurt themselves. And we've talked about this. Like, look, I understand you put a lot of work in a piece of wood, right? And then you put on there a laser and you screwed up and you realize you screwed up. Don't put your hand in there. Like as much time
the scar has gone away, but yeah, I had one there last year.
As much time and effort you put in that piece of wood, do not put your hand in there. Like stop it on the light burn, hit your emergency stop has it.
Yeah.
Hit pause and then do what you got to do.
Well, I took one because I had a couple of $100 worth of watch bands in my laser and I didn't want to screw them all up.
Yeah, so definitely do not do that. But she was super intimidated and said that she hasn't used it since because she hurt herself so bad. It's like, man.
Yeah, lasers bite.
Skyler, people are saying that they liked your house background.
Yes.
She's going to be like Roger. She's going to start selling that backdrop. What you could do is change that into a green screen, and then she can put any kind of background she wants back there.
There you go. You'll see a bunch of people on Teams meetings at work, and they'll have her house in the background. It's a licensed photo. So, Skyler, you'd mentioned that you possibly could be doing a new laser review. Can you speak on that or no?
No, I am not doing a laser review.
Okay, maybe. All right.
No.
I did get reached out from Adam Stack. They want me to do. You guys already did the review. The Nano Dual, the one with the AI.
That's
Mhm.
longer, not
Yeah,
Adam's
Yeah.
tech.
longer.
Oh, longer. I'm sorry,
no.
longer, not Adam's Tech. Yeah, but they said the same thing.
Yeah.
We'll send you. It's still a demo unit. It's not the complete unit, but supposedly there's more things. They're
Yeah,
farther along.
I sent my back.
Yeah, so supposedly they're farther along than the versions you've had. So
Yeah, well, they were definitely actively working on them when certainly when Skyler and I got ours. I was talking to her the other day to find out if we could do a giveaway.
maybe they're still waiting because she said that.
Well, they
They're
are.
still
They
working.
haven't. Yeah, they're not into production yet.
Right. She told me that they still want it back and they'll still send me another one. So I said, oh, okay. So that's crazy.
Now, when I got set my WeCreate 45, it was pre-production, so it was kind of a beta unit, and it worked fine. But they told me right off, don't use the air assist pump that comes with it. Use something else.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's the pump that it's a piece of crap, but that's not what they ship with the laser now.
So Jim's comment here about focus. He sent me a photo today, and I won't show it to anybody because it was my reaction was, well, this is terrible. but I did suffix it with, well, this looks like a focus issue to me, and he kind of I could hear that dope on from 2,000 miles away.
I was gonna say, way to
I've
motivate
done it
someone.
myself. That's why I know.
What do you think of this? Looks like shit.
So yeah, Jim got the Com Marker CO2 Galvo laser, which
Nice.
looks pretty sweet.
Nice one.
But of course, he's got to beat it into submission. So new laser, that's how they all are.
Chris said, Google says I'm a special makeup artist that demos demon masks for kids. Perfect. There you go. Maybe your YouTube picture kind of,
Does it say you do this out of a plain white van?
right? Gives out suckers free rides.
Yeah, free candy painted on the back.
Yeah. So Roger, any crazy upcoming 3D print jobs coming?
Actually, the 3D print sales have dropped off dramatically. It's because of the tariff embargo thing. People aren't buying lasers, so therefore they're not buying the accessories. So that's dropped off quite a bit. I do have an order. Actually have it printing right now for some drag chain mounts, but like a lot of the risers and stuff, the sales are way off on it. I'm thinking it'll pick back up now once they're able to start shipping again.
Roger, I think it's crazy is that when you're using these 3D printers a year ago, it sounded like a factory assembly line behind you.
Yeah.
Now you can have them running. Like the difference in lasers the difference in 3D printers within a year, you get them all running and you can't even hear them.
Yeah, I've got one running right behind me right now. I'll flip over to it.
Yeah.
Let me open the door so you can see it better instead of reflection. But I don't know if you can hear that or not over my microphone, but
I hear nothing.
Go back to Keith's question there before you move on.
I was just trying to move the comments so you can see it. Yeah. Yeah, that's just crazy to me.
Next one. Yeah.
Listen.
So Keith says, what laser would you recommend to engrave into cutting board, charcuterie boards if you have zero experience with a laser? It depends which of these is most important to you. If you have zero experience, then look at something like
the WeCreate. I mean,
the WeCreate. Yeah, Skyler did a great video. Mine was supposed to be done today, but it's probably not going to be done till Friday now.
And I've done reviews on both the 20 watt and the 45 watt.
Yeah, I have the Vision Pro as well. But the good news for you is literally any laser can engrave a cutting board.
Yep.
You can do it with a 5 watt laser, like a $200 laser. And
you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to do this if this is what your objective is.
Right, Keith, I would say this, that whenever you're going to start doing any type of laser work, a lot of times your vision changes, right? So be able to pivot. So my suggestion is buy the biggest laser you can afford. But afford within your means, then that makes $0. Don't buy something that I'm going to put on a credit card because I'm making the assumption that I'm going to make money to pay it off. Buy something, you can just buy it outright. And even if you grow out of it, you can always have your second laser, and it's not going to be a loss. Like the amount that I made so much artwork with even what's behind me with a 5-watt laser, and I started with a 5-watt laser. Now you're on a 40, and it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
But
I would rephrase your statement to say, instead of the biggest laser, the most capable laser. Because
I mean, the biggest bang for your buck, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that you can get spare parts like the
Right.
lens, mirrors, or whatever you need for it,
right.
because a lot of lasers you cannot get that stuff.
Right. The point of the comment was to purchase within your means. If you have $500, then buy the best laser you can get with $500, right?
Yeah.
But don't think you need to buy a 1,000-watt laser, especially for what you're asking to do.
Yeah. Now, the reason I would recommend the We Create is because it's got an amazing camera in it, so that you can never really make a positioning mistake. And their software is really designed for people who have no laser experience. So it's pretty capable that way.
Yeah, and it's free.
The software is free, not the laser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So
Jim said the CO2 30-watt gavel is fast.
not just fast.
Barry said, hello from Charlotte's, I don't know what WV. What's WV?
West Virginia.
Come on,
West
man. I'm not
Virginia.
even American. I know that.
I went to University of Canada for School of Music. There you go.
Cool.
He was in school in Canada. Harvard of Tennessee is still not taking orders.
I know. They're just all backed up. They will come back, though. And they'll have some really nice wooden sale.
Yeah, you're definitely seeing like a lot of these distributors, a lot of manufacturers sending out all these emails about the tariffs, and not little mom and pop, even big guys.
That's not their problems, though. Their problem is they got too many orders, and so now they're like they took everything off their website, do an inventory, and mail everything they have and pre-package it. They're selling it in this like 50-pound or so many board feet, and then they wanted to be ready, so when they put it back on the website, they can just ship it.
Nice. You said, thank you. Great advice. Yep. And when you get it, let us know. I'm sure we can give you a hand and get you started. Tim said, evening, Steve and friends.
Hey,
hello,
Tim.
hello.
Tim is sending me messages over on Facebook as we speak.
Chris said, most gear I budget big, but small first to see if it holds interest, then big as a backup. That makes sense.
Yeah, you can start. I mean, you can still pick up 5-watt lasers, right? They're reasonably cheap. If you want like a super cheap laser, go get like that longer
the Ray
Nano
5
Duo or the Ray 5 if you want a bigger open frame laser. But if you or the Pixie, that thing I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, it's a good get to understand laser. When you want to do something real though, it's probably a little small, but
right. The other thing is a 20-watt laser you can do a lot with, and the 20-watt lasers have really come down in price.
Yeah, they're kind of the entry now, right?
Right.
I would try to stay with the all-enclosed laser though versus an open frame.
Yeah, I would lean that way too, especially if you're new, right? Don't start with it,
Yeah.
Don't start with something that's a weapon.
Kevin said, hey, everyone from Chattanooga, Tennessee. We'll be here until conference call off back and then off call. All right, so he's jumping back and forth. So
Work's getting in the way. That's terrible.
Yeah. Especially late at night.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember which one of our followers was saying that they were from Australia, that they were going to be in the Chicagoland area, Roger, remember? It was coming up.
It was Chris.
Was it Chris?
They
wanted to go out for pizza or something. Yeah, I forget who it was. So if you're in the live, let us know if that's still something you're going to be doing. That'd be cool. Kevin said, I'm on vacation too. Look at that. They're on vacation, still enjoying their lives. How do you like that?
Wow. He's triple duty now.
Back when I was working and I would take vacation, we'd go down to Mexico. I'd be down there at the beach, but I'd have a laptop and I'd still be doing some email and that kind of stuff. Don't miss it a bit.
Yeah, Chris says open frame lasers are definitely better for experienced users. The other thing with open frame lasers is you're probably using light burn. Lightburn is super powerful, but it's not really something I would say a total beginner would grasp right away.
It's got a learning curve.
Yeah, but once you get over that curve, you can do amazing things with Lightburn. It's more work, especially when you're getting started.
Tim said that I don't have Skyler in the video description on mine, so I guess I got to change that. Well, I'm assuming he's joining from mine.
Oh, actually, I probably don't either.
I thought I had it updated on mine, but I don't know. Tim, just question: whose channel are you joining
he's
from?
probably looking at mine.
Oh, there you go. With Steve.
Yeah, I'm delinquent. What can I say? I'm just trying to get back there so I can find it. Oh, here we are.
So, Roger, you got a new tractor?
Yeah, well, I'll have it next week.
Okay.
Got the 1025R. Bought it with the loader, the forks, and the backhoe.
Nice. You'll like
more
it.
Deck. I don't need the more deck on it, but it's going to take the place of my forklift. I'll be selling that. And so if anybody is looking to buy a forklift, I could fix them up with this late model one right here.
Very low miles.
Yeah, 1950 tow motor.
She still runs.
Oh, yeah.
It's so old, the iron has started to erode.
It works, though.
He said it's Steve's YouTube page.
Yes.
Wah, wah, wah.
There, I fixed this week's.
Tim said he offered you $200.
I want a little bit more than that, but the biggest thing is you're going to have to move it.
I got a question for you guys. While you're working, do you listen to music, or are you kind of person just wants
No, not usually.
I need to pay attention. I feel like you need to. If a tool is about to go bad on you, something bad is going to happen. You're going to hear it before it happens. That's my theory. So I need to hear what's happening. Like your bandsaw will sound off. Your table saw will sound off.
What about you, Roger?
Yeah, if I'm running tools or something in the shop, I don't have any music on. But if I'm just doing some miscellaneous stuff, I've always got a radio on for the background, just background noise.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I don't really care what it is, just background noise on. But I was doing some work not too long back with one of my uncles, and he was mad that I had music on. We're working. I'm like, what's wrong with the radio being on? Change it to something else. If it's the type of music, I don't care. Just background music, But yeah, I was just curious, what you guys listen to. I did a build this weekend. It turned out so good that the customer backed out, and I was kind of happy because I was like, you know what, I'm going to sell for a lot more than I promised you. Has that ever happened to you guys?
Yeah, happens all the time. Especially if if it's somebody you're probably cutting them a deal to start with.
Right, exactly.
And then they go, well, so somebody else comes along and you can get paid what the thing is actually worth.
What's that?
What did you make?
I think I posted the pictures on Facebook. It's that it's a garden box, but the point is it's 15 inches off the ground. So it's made so that when someone's gardening, they don't have to bend down.
Right.
That it's pretty much
great.
Yeah, so I see a lot of people making them out of 100% pure cedar picket fences, and it's going to bow like this in 6 to 8 months, or at least next season when it gets wet and dries again.
Right.
So I actually framed it out in 2x4s, and the legs are 4x4s, and then I just wrapped it in cedar. Right, so I could stand in it and jump in it, and I'm not going to fall through the floor, But yeah. So again, I was like Steve said, giving it to someone basically next to nothing because it was a friend, and they canceled out, and I was like, great, I'll sell it for more, or keep it for myself. I actually liked it that much. Bob said, hey guys, Bob from Birmingham, Alabama. First time watching. Thank you, Bob, for joining. Let us know if you have any questions. Appreciate everyone let us know where you're joining us from. Oh, I got a couple giveaways, small giveaways coming up within the next 2 weeks. Nothing crazy, but be cool. Jack said I made 26 songs about 3D printing. AI is now becoming something to do.
I see on YouTube now there's an if you're a partner, you can use their AI function to create music to put on your videos. But it's kind of in beta yet, so it's kind of like you get some weird stuff.
Well, my Facebook is monetized, and they tell me all the time, like, I have to start posting shorts or reels, right? And if I posted one reel, and then like in 10 minutes, they're like, see, you made X amount of dollars. You didn't make that in 3 weeks. But then I posted it, and it suggests you add music. And I added music that they suggested. And then it says, you won't get paid for this 10,000 views because you used a music, you know, monetized whatever.
Oh, this is the new music assistant thing. And
yeah, but I'm like, but you told me to do that. Like,
yeah, it's supposed to be free of any license, right? It's pulling it out of the YouTube music library. So it shouldn't even have given you a warning. It must be a bug.
Yeah, it did. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Mark said I started with the 20-watt open frame with Lightburn, hit the ground running because I had you guys on YouTube to teach me how to use it. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the definite good news about Lightburn is everyone uses it. So there's tons and tons of tutorials.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you really want to learn Lightburn, I'll give Rich a plug here.
Yeah.
Louisiana Hobby Guy. He has done just a fantastic job with a raw beginner that can barely turn a computer on. He'll teach you how to use Lightburn.
And Lightburn themselves, they do a lot of videos as well.
Yeah,
and
they have lots of good videos too.
Yeah, and they're pretty responsive. I've gotten responses like midnight. I'm like, wow, what the heck? I wasn't expecting a response.
Well, they're a totally remote kind of company, right? So they got people all over the world. So there's probably somebody in some time zone that's awake whenever you send them a message.
Yeah, so don't be surprised, or don't not at least try to reach directly out to them as well. Brett says, what do you guys use for video camera setups for social media?
Oh, well, I have a lot. Panasonic Lumix GH5. I have 2 of those. I got a Tunevo PTX. I've got a DJ Osmo for portable stuff. I've got another Panasonic Lumix GH4 I use for B-roll. And then I've got a couple other just little miscellaneous cameras. And once in a while, I'll even use my phone, but not very often.
So, Roger, what would you say your budget is and what your setup is right now?
Well, I used to do photography too, so I probably easily got over $10,000 worth of camera equipment. Easily.
Yeah, I have. This is a Sony FX3. I have another FX3 in my shop. There's a Canon M200 over there that is retired now. I use my iPhone for all the B-roll stuff I shoot, just because it gets into small places, and I have an Osmo 3 as well.
I have almost all the Sony cameras from R4 to A4, A1, pretty much all of them, because I was doing photography. And yet all my videos on YouTube are shot on my phone with the front camera.
That makes me sad.
So I'm
Just
probably
because I don't want to have tripods and trip on it and big cameras and
well,
I feel like it's so much easier. I'm like, I don't even care. Just
like my FX3s are all on mounts, right? So I don't move them around. This one is literally fixed to my desk. And the other one is in my desk in my workshop, which I haven't turned on yet because I still haven't recorded videos out there since I moved in here.
I don't have any fancy camera setups. I use an Insta360 for most of my filming. And then these, I'm actually just using the camera that's built into my Mac Pro. But if I turn the light off, it's like really horrible. So,
yeah, it's laptop cameras, and actually Macs tend to have better cameras than most. They're just the sensors are too small in them, right?
Yeah, I'm on a Mac right now, but
that's the other part of all this social media equipment, right? Is the Macs, all the computers, right? Well, like I have a Mac Studio here attached to a Blackmagic video recorder. I have another Blackmagic video recorder in the shop with the new Mac Mini, the M4, which is a rocking machine for the price.
I've got a Go Stream video mixer here, and I got a sound mixer down here. And the camera that's on me right now is this Teneo PTX because it has remote control.
That's the one you can steer.
I can move it around and I can zoom in and out. I can get myself back in the middle.
Yeah, I keep thinking I want to get one of those cameras that'll follow me that just clips on the top of my laptop.
Yeah, just a gimbal.
Yeah, not
Smart
crazy.
gimbal.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, I forgot. I've got 2 gimbals too. So yeah, I've got and prime lenses and
gimbals. Never use them.
Yeah. So the answer to the question was you spend way too much money buying video equipment.
The way that I would see it, there's plenty of people who make tons of videos and go viral with a cell phone.
Yeah,
so if you think that you need a $10,000 camera setup, just start with this.
But you do need a microphone.
Spend,
people will see through a bad quality video. They will not see through bad audio.
Yeah. Spend money. If you're starting a YouTube channel, spend your first $300 or $400 on a microphone.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like I have 2 of these Shure microphones that are really nice. And they're very directional. Like I have my video recorder makes noise. It's got a fan on it and you can't hear it. So, and it's literally 2 feet that way.
He said, "Can I get a laser like the one featured in the movie Real Genius?"
Well, I didn't see that movie, so
So it was a space laser. When I worked in industrial lasers, one of the lasers I worked on was a 1 joule laser, which is a honking thing, and it had about a 4-inch beam on it. That thing was amazing. We used to engrave in concrete blocks.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
They got used. That was back in the mid 80s, and they were still spending money on the Strategic Defense Initiative.
Tim said shorts and reels are a pain in the
rear.
But the only thing I would say about shorts is I do them a lot because you can repurpose old content. It will transfer, like all of our lives. I go in AI and I tell it, pick the top 5 moments of this video and I post it. But that short is linked back to the original video. So it drives, because a lot of times on our podcast, we get a decent amount of views, but I don't see as many views on replays. But since I started doing the shorts, that brings us replays and that brings us a lot of new people. So.
And I have never posted a short.
I've posted a few.
On OnlyFans?
No. And I sometimes look at our live stream and see if there's something to pull out of there. But usually, Opus is okay for extracting those things, but most of the time it's just crap, right? So it's like,
well, the thing I think that Opus went crazy on offering big time bucks for influencers. They even offered me. And the only reason I didn't do it was because Opus was awesome. And the more and more people who signed up for it, it just sucks. There's days I just nope, not going to use it today because it just crashes or just they're going through growing pains, right? And you can see even sometimes the video, all of a sudden the quality looks horrible. And you're like, what the heck? And it's like they're processing or whatever. But and it's definitely not one click and you're posting. You have to reframe and do some things. But it's still cool the way it does, but it's definitely not flawless. Bob says, Skyler, I like the video on your carved snake.
Thank you. I have it right here. Let me show it to you.
Oh, there you go.
So I have 2 of them, and I'm making a 3rd one now because I was not 100% happy with this, guys. So that's one. This is walnut. And then I have this one is from cherry. But I'm making another one now, a little bit different shape. And I carved it with a Dremel.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. So how many hours do you have into that so far?
The snake? Oh, like 20 minutes.
Okay, not bad then.
Yeah.
Not bad.
This one was a compound cut on the scroll saw, so you see the head stands out.
Okay.
So.
Can make some crazy Medusa stuff. Tim said, new shirt, Roger, looks fantastic. I'm getting carving for pina coladas.
Craving pina coladas. I am actually drinking water tonight because I was out sweating so much today with it being so hot that got to get rehydrated, and alcohol would not work tonight.
Yeah, I'm enjoying a beer today. The last 3 weeks, I've been studying for a certificate, and man, I feel like I put my brain in a microwave. So I'll be taking a 4-hour test very early in the morning. So hopefully I pass.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Jack in the shop said, I got the... Yeah, this is not a question for me. Steve, you want to read this one?
Ozbot, Tiny 2 Light PTZ cam. PTZ cams are neat because you can, I mean, they're literally remote. Like I could go over here and then you can see the mess I got in the shop there in the office. So there's the other camera that's on tonight that's on the 3D printer, and I can zoom in on it if I want to. That's a Panasonic GH5.
Yeah, it's crazy. Definitely a lot of different routes you can go when it comes to cameras, right? It's however big your wallet is.
Yeah,
Like
the FX3 is boss. It's also insanely expensive.
How much is it?
The body's probably, well, in US dollars, probably 5,000.
Oh man!
And
No
then you're
lens.
gonna put a $1,500 lens on the front of it. So
Right.
yeah, they're not cheap.
Well, the thing with cameras
but-
is most of the time you're going to spend more money on the glass than you are the camera.
Yeah. But the FX3 it can do, well, it can record at like 120 frame 4K and stuff, right? So it's good. Like I have no regrets buying them, but you know, they put a big dent in your bank account, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So
But
you know,
I think
if anybody wonders as a YouTuber why I'm not like rich like Mr. Beast, because Mr. Beast probably gets his cameras given to him.
Well, the same point that Steve always says, people think you make so much money on YouTube, and people don't realize that most YouTubers, the money you make on YouTube, you just put it right back into YouTube.
Yeah,
right?
I have yet to take a salary out of my YouTube channel.
You just spend it on something you use for. That's what I do.
It's stuff that I'll use to make videos, right? Like sometimes it's a shop tool, honestly, but not very often. Usually it's like, oh, I need more light. Like I've got lights here too, right? So
yeah. Tim says, is there any views expected on new machines soon? If so, what did you buy?
For me, it's the Anycubic Cobra Max 3D printer, and it's in the box. I haven't even opened it up yet. It's here, and I bought it. Nobody gave it to me.
What made you go on a different route than I thought you're the Bamboo King.
Oh, I like Bamboo. I mean, it's a great machine, but they do not make a really large format like the Cobra Max. It's bigger than the Hunger GH or L5X I used to have. I sold that. It has a huge work bed area. Plus, it's got the ACE filament system, so you've got 4 different filament rolls you can run, and yeah, it'll be great when I get it set up. So I figure out where the hell I'm going to put it.
Yeah.
It's big. I mean, the box is I think 40 inches square. That the box it came in. The FedEx guy was having a hell of a time with it.
Something that I bought that's coming is the CNC. I know we've been talking about it for the last 2 months.
Since Christmas.
Yeah. So the One Infinity CNC will be here Friday. So expect some videos on that. I have everything except the cooler because I didn't even get an email from them. I just got an email from UPS like that they added me to the notification thing.
Don't you already have a cooler though that you can use in the short term?
Technically, yes. Yeah.
You got
for the mount port. Yeah, but I have a 3,000. I wanted the 5,000.
You don't need a 5,000 for that.
You don't think so?
No, mine's cooled with a not even a 5-gallon pail. It's like a 2.5-gallon pail and an aquarium pump.
Well, with our disc port, it's nothing. So port takes.
Like I don't have any radiant cooling or anything in it. It's just literally a bucket of water, well, it's antifreeze water, but it's.
By the way, I think there's actually still some of these free left if anybody wants these. So Or if you guys want to make a second order, you can.
After our last live stream, I went to the shop and I was looking. I'm like, where can I fit a CNC? If I move that there, if I move that here.
They're supposedly going to be coming out with some new stuff. They're being real like closed-lipped for some reason, but Monport's weird because they'll like bug you for nonstop for a month and then just ghost you for 6 months, and then all of a sudden you're like, it's on its way. You're like, I didn't even think we were going to do anything.
Well, with Monport, after I did my first series of videos with their 40, which is it's a fine, well, it's really bigger than desktop, but I have it on a cart. Everything's on a cart. But they wanted to send me like this humongous one that I don't have room for that. I have, I would need to use the forklift to unload it when it came, and then I would not have any place to put it, so I had to turn it down. It was a massive unit. It was at least 100 watt, but it was just way too big for. I had no place to put it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I think that 100 watt is like the competitor for the Thunderbird or Thunder. What is that Thunder? What is that? The one Andy has. That's
Thunder
like
laser.
What is it?
It's a Thunder laser.
Yeah, but I forget the model. Something that's like.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Dave said he keeps his short to himself.
Hey, I'm an electrician. I know how to find your shorts.
Yikes! There's too much information here.
Chris said my lens determines which cameras I buy. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's true, because I got so much money in glass that I have to stick with a micro four thirds format. Otherwise, I'd have to buy all new glass, and I don't want to do it. I got a lot of prime lenses, the macro lenses, and they're just no.
Yeah, most of my photography cameras are Canon. Well, in fact, all of them are.
So to your point, Steve, Chris said water-cooled spindles rely on the flow of water rather than the temp of water.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just
you don't need to move a lot of water through them, so you certainly don't need to keep it chilled.
Yeah, I was just saying, when you look online at these, like, I ended up finding the manufacturer who makes them, right? But I can't purchase directly from them. So all these laser manufacturers just rebranded chillers. They're all 3,000, 5,000. They don't even change the model number. That's how they just say Monport C3000, and they say some other brand C. They even keep the model the same, which is kind of funny, like comical. They don't even hide it. But I guess if you Google it, then you'd see it at least is a reputable chiller that's being rebranded.
Yeah, that's the same one everybody uses, right? That's
right.
What I have a 5,000 in my laser, but CO2 lasers, they are temperature sensitive.
Right. So yeah, I have a 3000 on the Monport K40. So there you go. So any upcoming projects you guys are working on that you care to talk about or share?
Oh, Skyler's always working on something cool.
Not really.
Okay, so I have to say something about Skyler. So I ordered 2 crosses. I ordered 1 and then was torn between 2 and then almost bought 3 and ended up buying 2. but I have to say, like, 2 things. 1, they're a lot bigger than like I pictured them, like from the photos. And 2, like the pictures do not do it justice. I got to post some pictures online because, like,
it's hard to photograph them because the light reflects out of them. Yeah,
so I think like maybe it's not the greatest photo, but when you actually walk in, like I think you're in your driveway and kind of show it in the light, like that's when you can kind of see, like, maybe it's not the greatest, but you're really kind of seeing what it really looks like. They're like, wow.
Yeah, I think the size is 15 by 8, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, it's nice. Super nice. So I gave 1 to my wife and I gave 1 to my mom.
Nice.
So
I have a few player boxes for Dungeons and Dragons folks to do.
I have
the dart box, Steve.
I still owe Steven a dart box. I have not forgotten. You have no idea how little time I've had in the last 8 months. It's been crazy.
I have a few boxes. I have a customer that bought a whole bunch of my boxes and some tissue box covers, and he wants me to make some bigger boxes. He sent me some pictures of his house. It's like, I want to put it right here on top of this, and he has to kind of go with the flow. but he wants it to be bigger so he can put an item that is like 13 inches long, 6 inches wide in it and stuff. So
That's cool.
have to come to new designs.
Yeah.
I have someone that wants me to make him a sign for his cooking shack, and it'll have his name, and then it says cooking shack underneath. And he sent me the email according to kind of sketching how he wants it to look, but he spelled cooking wrong. COOCKING. And
was that intentional? Like, is he?
I emailed back. I said, "Did you intentionally spell it that way?" So I haven't heard back. That was this morning.
Maybe he was drinking a couple beers.
Oh, he wants. He got the idea from my hot tub sign I've been selling, and he wants the same type of thing, with the laser cutout letters, 1/2 inch thick cedar, and then mounted on cedar. So it'd be a nice little project.
We got some spam in here. Said, "Are you sure he didn't spell it clack?" I'm dyslexic, so I double, triple check like any kind of spelling, anything. And then when I create the file before I do anything, I send the customer a picture like 100% approved, And I charge per character. So I do a lot of memorial stuff. Like the people, they'll put like 07, 09, 25, and then the second date they won't put the 0, and I'm like, you realize like you put this. So do you want to delete the 0 in the beginning? No, but that don't make sense. Like it doesn't look right. That's how I want it. Okay. But yeah, funny though. Yeah, I'm excited about the CNC coming though, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it'll keep you occupied. Did you order some big noise protectors for your wife?
You really are telling me it's really going to be that loud? I know you've been like busting me this whole time. Like seriously?
Put a good piece of like hickory or something in there and hit it with a 1/4 inch bit.
Yeah. So I was gonna go on to what is his website? The guy who sells that bamboo stuff. He actually has like or what do you guys recommend for like starter bits?
For very starter bits, go to YouTube or go to Amazon.
Amazon, get some cheapies. You'll break them.
The 5-pack of 1/8 inch bits and the 5-pack of 1/4 inch bits that say they're carbide, they might have passed by a carbide factory on the way to the U from Amazon, but I don't know how much carbide is actually in them. But
especially when you get a bit that's supposed to be carbide and it bends.
Yeah.
Carbide doesn't bend, it breaks. But you'll get one, I have some of them real cheap ones supposed to be carbide end mill and 1/8 inch, and I hogged it too hard and it bent it instead of breaking it.
Yeah, and when you go for a month without breaking a bit, then go buy either Jenny bits or Amana bits to replace them.
Chris said it's loud enough to need hearing protection.
Yeah, it's loud.
It is.
All right. Maybe I'll have to try to buy one of those cheap old decibel meter testers.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can put an app on your phone and you'll find.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's even better.
My CNCs are small, and I still put the earmuffs on.
Yeah, Speetool Zentenro says are a decent value. They are. These are the ones I'm thinking of. They come in a pack of 5 for like, I don't know,
on
$40
Amazon
or something. Yeah.
Let me search it up really quick here. Yeah, I mean everyone. That's the end of the day. Like I'm saying, just I'm not looking for anything crazy.
Yeah, because they'll be fine to get you going. Like they're good enough that you'll immediately see the potential of CNC, but they're not so good that you're going to see that potential for more than 5 or 6 jobs with a.
Really?
Yeah. Well, well, I mean, you might get more, but like end mills they last pretty long anyway. But you're going to do things to them, and they're not going to like it. So.
Yeah, Chris, there's a big difference between a carbide coated and full carbide. That's
There,
true.
there is. It's just that on Amazon they advertise them as solid carbide, and there's no way they're solid carbide.
They just sprayed it with spam and sent it on its way.
It's like carbide coated licorice or something. Like it's, but they'll get you going. And when you break one, you won't shed a tear. You might swear a bit, but
so the more
if you break a $50 Amana bit, you will swear and you'll shed tears.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So the better quality bits, you're talking $75-$50.
I like the white. I like the white side for router bits that are better quality.
Yeah. The other thing you're going to want to get is a flattening bit for your workspace.
Okay. To do the whole thing.
Yeah, if you have, and you're probably going to want a couple of collets too. You're probably going to want a 1/2-inch collet.
Yeah, I'll probably circle back with you offline, Steve, and put together a list.
Because the Amana flattening bit is a 1/2-inch shank on it.
Okay.
But you can plow through anything with that. And you can sharpen them if you have a diamond file.
Okay. Kevin said, well, Steve, I just got off conference call and found out they're sending me to Ontario for a few weeks.
Oh, I used to live in Ontario. It's hot there. I've gotten soft since I moved to the coast. When it gets to be, I don't know, 75 here, it'll touch 80 in the summertime. It's like, oh my God, I'm dying. But I used to wake up when I lived in Ontario. I used to wake up and it would be like 85 degrees at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'd go golfing and not think about it. But here, first hot, like today, it was, I don't know, probably high 70s, almost 80, I guess, but maybe not that hot. And it was hot.
Skyler, you talked about earlier in the live that you had kind of made some changes in what you're creating instead of pivot point. You kind of plateaued, so to speak, in creating certain type of things. So you decided to come up with a different type of item. And I'm curious to know because I know Roger keeps talking about it, is that the effects of our economy and how it's affecting our sales. And is that what pivot points are you making in your marketing to be able to continue to succeed what you may see a downfall coming?
One thing that I did change is for my Etsy store, I started running ads, which before I was not running. And now I'm running like $25 a day in ads. So that seemed to help a lot. And I just seem to post a lot more on social media, all my projects that I'm doing. I am making more shorts and reels and showing what I'm doing. And it seems like to get a lot of sales from that. Like, just post something on Facebook and somebody will contact me. Hey, do you still have that? I'm interested. Or can you make me one like that, but a little bit bigger?
What about you, Steve?
As far as advertising?
Yeah, just marketing yourself in general.
It's all word of mouth for me. I don't pay for. I won't say I don't pay for advertising. I did Google gave me some offer to do some Google advertising, and it probably paid for itself. But it just, I don't know. It just
I tried the Google too. That didn't work out for me so well.
Yeah, well, you never know who's getting it or anything. So the easiest way to market is to do something awesome for somebody, and they'll tell everybody else, right?
And word of mouth is the best advertising.
Yeah, and those are the kind of people I tend to want to work with anyway. So.
And that works for people that have been around for a while in business, right? But if you're brand new and you didn't sell anything, then...
Are you saying I'm old?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, if somebody is starting right now and they have no customers, they have not sold anything.
Yeah.
We're just saying, if you know Jesus, you might be old.
Well, we might have been in some of the same classes. I don't know. It's tough when you're first getting going, right? And you tend to have to maybe give things away or do like the lost leader kind of thing for the first little while.
Yeah.
Chalk it up as training, both training on how to make things as well as how to sell things. But fairly quickly, people will start to come to you.
And you kind of said like cost of this training too, is that every single project that I do, I always say like, what's my lessons learned? Like, What did I learn from this? What could I do different? And one did I like, not that I just won't sell, but if I make this again, I'm going to do this because I think this would look better. And
that's pretty much the feeling I have after every project I finish. It's complete. I look at it, it's like, I got to do it again because now I would change that and I will make it better because I didn't like this part. Or
I saw. Go ahead.
I made a light because sometimes on this front, Rick, sometimes you learn what you're never going to make again. And I don't know. I might have shown this one already once, but let me see if I can find it. So go ahead and say what you were going to say.
I forget his name, and he's going to kill me that I can't remember his name. But he makes a lot of. He goes to like Pottery Barn and some of these high-end stores, and he like makes a easy version to make, and he follows the trends in the markets, and he'll tell you like, make this. This is selling right now. Make this. And what's cool is he kind of like does it to say like, we keep saying like, just because Steve, you can sell something in Canada doesn't mean in Chicago I'm going to sell the same, right? So there are demographics to things, but then there also are things that are like seasonal items, like we always talk about. And he has this Woodworking Wednesday that he posts like, what are you working on? So I posted some of those boxes, and it's cool to see like other things people are making. But again, I do think it's definitely, really depends on where you live, these markets.
My biggest sale on boxes, I have this flower box. I have it here. I can show it to you. And that's the one that seems to sell the most. And every time I sell one, because I like to have at least 2 in inventory. And then every time I sell one, I'm like, I want to make another one. I hate making them. But they seem to be the best sellers. Let me just go grab it. I'll show you what they look like.
Here, I'll show you this this light that I made. This is a one-off. There will never be another one of these because this thing was so damn hard to make and put together. But someone comes to you with an idea and they say, and you look at it and go, yeah, this will be good. But it took me 2 days to figure out how to put it together.
Wow, that looks really cool. I like it.
Is that Edison light?
Yeah, inside, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And it's crooked. It's not my light bulb, but
nice.
Here is the box that is my best seller.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
And this is the flower lotus on the top, and this is the lid. This is how you open the box.
Oh, it's crazy.
Sweet.
But I hate making the petals because I have to carve every one of these petals individually and then glue them. And I just do not like doing that.
Matthew Peach, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I thought it was kind of crazy when I looked on my Facebook and I saw it says followers and his name was under there. And I'm like, he follows me? Like, what? This guy's huge. Like, oh, that's cool. But he commented on one of my builds and was like, very nice. And I was like, what the heck? So that's cool. Chris said it took me a while, but I got used to
The Getmo method.
good enough, then move on.
Yeah.
Made too many remarks and improvements. I got lost, and when I was bringing up Matthew and I forgot what I was bringing up, I lost my train of thought. But what I was saying, the reason I brought him up initially was he was saying that don't point out your flaws when you make something, because we have a problem when you show something. You're like, yeah, because they won't see it. Like you see a flaw. So don't point it out. And if they notice a flaw, it almost shows that it's handmade, right? Like there's a little wave in something or something like that's because you made it by hand. Like, but I thought that was cool to see though, like, to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so tempting to say, well, oh, look, this is great, but I screwed this up. Right.
Right.
And then you say to somebody, $800, please. And they go, well, but you screwed that up. So,
And Darren asks, are you taking questions? You bet we are.
of course we are.
Darren, we're just shooting the shit as we're waiting for questions to come in. But if anyone has any questions, 100%, let us know. Let us know. That's what the live questions and answers is for. All right, here you go. Steve, you want to read this?
I think you skipped over Zentenro's here. This one. Zentenro says he likes to iterate on designs, sometimes obsessively. You must be a software guy, because that's what we did.
I'm guilty of that too. Just instead of using the KISS method, which is keep it super simple, you overcomplicate it.
Well, you're very polite. Kiss was always keep it simple, stupid.
Stupid, yeah. Yeah, keep it simple, stupid, yep.
I usually pretty much never make a plan. I just start the project and just let it see where it goes. Like, I don't know how it's gonna
well, that's where creativity comes from, right?
Yeah, but sometimes it doesn't work out. I'm doing a vanity for my daughter, and I started and I got like a third of the way in, and then I was like, I hate it. I just took it apart. I'm like, I can't. I have to start again. But now I'm like, I need to come up with a new plan.
I'll give Darren a suggestion here. If you say he's just starting to trying to pick projects he wants to make and sell, go to some craft shows or craft fairs or little pop-up events and see what people are making, and then see what people are actually selling. Because that's what you kind of want to look at. I mean, I've made things here that I thought were just great and couldn't sell them.
Yeah, keep in mind if you're going to craft markets like weekend markets, there's tiers of those things. There's the I cut out my coaster blank with my teeth, and I'm gonna engrave it and try and sell it to you. From that up to somebody who like grew the tree that they carved the blank out of, right? And so keep in mind figure out who you want your target audience to be. If you want it to be the entry-level people, then make those. The overhead's small, but they're very cheap to create. But if you want the higher end, you're going to spend a lot of money to make something, so you're not going to sell it for a loss. You're going to sell it for hundreds instead of tens of dollars.
Darren, what I would suggest...
Most of all, make something that you like making, because if it's something that you don't like making, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, although don't assume that because you like it, a customer is going to like it. That's always a danger, right?
What I would suggest, Darren, is going to Facebook Marketplace and changing it to 100 miles. And then see what's selling in your area and something that you would like to make. And then go to their reviews and see how often are they selling that item. And just because someone has it for sale doesn't mean that's what it's sold for, or that it even sold at all.
If you go on Etsy, if you have Everbee, you can see, you can look up an item and see how many sales that person made and how much revenue they made per month, and see the top people and what they sold and stuff.
There you go.
Hey, Andrew. Andrew says, I try to leave at least one mistake in everything I do to prove it's handmade. Yeah, there's a theory there, and people seem to resound with that. I tend to leave one mistake in at least most of the time because I just screw up. But
they were not intentional with me.
I'm not going to leave a mistake in there intentionally. But there's something to be said. If something is absolutely perfect, people are going to say, "Oh, you bought it from some manufacturer."
Right. Daniel said, for 3D models, optimization is something with investing in to save print time and fulfillment.
That is quite true, because I do that all the time. Optimize everything. My thing is not so much fulfillment, but the time, print time.
But you can even optimize your light burn files, and that's all those kind of little dots when you're making something that the way.
You have to be. Well, I think it was a bug they fixed, but occasionally light burn, when you hit the optimize, it would actually break the file. Like, you're engraving over here and engraving over here. Next, I'll just draw a line across there and go to the next point. And bad things were happening. So, but I think they fixed that.
Right, but I don't. But, you can choose that, but
keep
in
mind
optimize the raw file before you even import it.
But keep in mind, optimization is change, right? So it may be not the change you want.
Right. Chris said, rule number 1, make the customer pay for it, not what you like. Will the customer pay for it, not what you like? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's always and ideally you find both, right? You like it and the customer actually asked for it. Happens sometimes.
Yeah. Everyone
made lots of things they just hated making, but customer loves it, right? So that light was a good example where it was pain. But
he said, great advice. I do craft fairs, and some vendors are frustrated they're not selling stuff, and others are selling a lot.
Yeah, again, it depends what your market is and what people are going to buy in your area. Like here, I sell hell out of coasters, but like up where Steve is, he probably doesn't really have a market like that.
No, because we don't drink in Canada.
You don't take so long to drink that you have to set it down, Steve. That's the difference.
Yeah, you just
they're like coasters or those sleeves. Nah, we don't use that. We drink our beer. We don't babysit it. No, I see honestly sometimes, and I just keep my mouth. If it's not nice, I don't say it. But I see these people. They're like going to a trade show and they're posting these pictures, and it's like, who's gonna buy that? Like in the amount of hours, like. I think if I was to do my first trade show, and I think I am actually going to be doing one in August, I don't think I would gear up like insane because you really don't know how it's going to do. Like I see these people like they have like 30 of everything, and it's like it's a bust like that. That's talk about that's a blow to the ego, man. That had to hurt.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, unless you have 550 slate tiles in a box, you can afford to make a few. But
yeah.
One thing that I've seen, and my granddaughter does this, she sells a lot of tumblers at shows. And she has a wide variety of them. And there's more than one of each pattern, but she never puts out more than one of each pattern.
There you go.
And when somebody comes by and they buy a particular one, like with a spaceship on it, then after they're gone, she put another one out. She doesn't have them all lined up, where you could buy, where it looks like you got a ton of them.
That's the rule of supply and demand, right?
Yeah, right, everything looks like it's one off, and that's a good marketing thing.
Yeah. Get it now or it might sell.
Yeah, and I mean, it's it's one of those things you can honestly say when somebody comes by and starts looking at it. You can say it's the last one I have on the table. You got 50 of them in a box
the table. I like how you put that in there, on the table.
Tim, she was at a show last month up in Jefferson, Wisconsin, and the first day it's open. It's only open for the vendors, to give the vendors a chance to set up and everything. Well, you can go around and buy stuff from other vendors. Well, what some people do is they go around and they see something that is like really cheap for what it is, and they'll buy it. Then they'll go sell it in their booth.
Yeah.
Smart.
It happens a lot.
Yeah, buy it and take it over to your own booth, add an extra couple bucks to it and sell it, right?
Yeah. Tim said, okay, you don't want to do beer wars. We know who wins, right, Steve?
Yeah, we don't. The only 3% alcohol beer we have here is American beer.
You're up, Roger.
Okay, why do you think I sell so many coasters? I market to high-end bars, and I market in quantity. I don't, occasionally I'll make a set for somebody, personalize a set of 4 or 8, but usually if I'm going to do coasters, it's anywhere from 50 to 100 to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, you're not going to make any money on it.
Yeah. Business to business.
Coaster's a tough business.
Yeah.
Steven said, but you can't sell from an empty cart.
This is true.
Yeah.
See, we all live close to each other, right? So
Chris said, I can't stay at home. If I sell one item, I can make more margin than someone spending 1 to 2 days at a fair show just to sell the right item. I mean, that's easier said than done, right? Like, you can make a ton of money as long as you sell the right items. You definitely need to know your market.
Yeah, but this is why, and I'm sure Skyler's like this too, this is why I don't sell at craft shows, right? Because
I tried that for a year.
Yeah, the margins tend to be low, and you have to sell a lot. And you're in the right place to sell a lot, but it's a lot of work. So I'd much rather
just packing your stuff safely and take them there and then display them. And
I'd much rather sit for even a month and go golfing or something, and then somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I want to spend X number of hundreds of dollars to make something." Right?
I'm in the same boat now. I would never do a craft show again. I'll do one at Christmas just because it's at my kids' school for a charity thing. So I'm gonna do that one. But other than that, I will never go to one again.
But I would say there's also, like you, Steve said, there's different tiers of craft shows. Meaning, there's craft shows geared towards certain things, like the Hispanic month, they'll have like a Day of the Dead stuff. And it's like, so if you made Day of the Dead stuff, the likelihood of you selling that is probably better than if you just went to a regular craft show and sold Day of the Dead stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or
there's
like
but
the
there's
Christmas theme.
I'd say
Like,
there's sort of 3 distinct tiers at craft markets, right? There's
Right.
the, hey, it's your local craft market, you bring your own table and for $5 you sell stuff, right?
Right.
And then there's the kind of middle tier, which is, you know, they're higher end things, but still anybody can go there. And then there's that top tier, which is they invite you, right? Here you go through some board review.
And they have judges and
Yes.
tickets people have to pay to come in. And
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
And
expensive.
oh, sure. But the kinds of people who go to that top tier, and you're not going to get there on day one, so forget it. But the kinds of people who go to those top tier things are often interior decorators and, you know, like equally high end people on the consumer side, right? So, you know, if you're selling, you know, maybe the $300 set of coasters because there's some high end thing, they're made out of like blood and tears of children or something. I don't know, but those things are going to sell there, right? Because the kind of people who are there are going to buy them.
So I think if you walk away with anything from this rabbit hole we kind of went down, it's if you go to a craft show and completely bust, just lick your wounds and move on. Because you could have went to the wrong craft show, or maybe just craft show's not your thing. Like,
or bad weekend too, right? Like, you know, if it's not a pay weekend for you know, government employees, you know, there's a big,
it was on the first of the month when everyone just paid all their bills. You know what I mean? Like, so
I mean, so everybody I know who's done craft markets, the first time it's like a total waste of time, and they go, "That's it, I'm not going to do it." But you say, "Okay, get back on your horse, go back there next weekend and do it again," and then they start to build up, right? Because quite often people will go to the same craft market week after week, and they'll say, "Oh, I talked to you last week. Now I want to buy one of these." Right? I thought about it.
So I thought the craft show bandwagon that I would jump on is, I know my area, a lot of churches do them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because you pay the church to be in the craft fair, and that's how the church raises money. Well, I make a lot of religious things. So I thought, like, well, that's kind of like directly who I'm marketing to, right? So that would be good for me. And then I make a lot of memorial stuff. So like the Day of the Dead thing, when they do that in my area, that would be good. But just a regular craft show, I don't know if I would have. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. I have a niche.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at Chris's remark.
No, even more. That's what I'm saying. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. I have a specific niche, and you know, I stay in that niche.
Yeah, we do have to bow to the Aussies for beer drinking. So, but we're number 2.
Modelo is the number 1 sold beer in the United States. So,
yeah,
what can I say?
that's what I normally have here, but tonight I gotta suck down some water.
Did it go up by 25% or something?
We'll see what happens when the tariffs hit, because Modelo is really expensive.
Yeah, but it's
like $28 to $32 depending on where you buy it, and Miller Lite's like $26.
Modelo by the 24 bottle case here is $28.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. It says a weekend of 24 to 25. I have gun and Second Amendment themed projects that sell. I work with local gun stores and they sell and pick them up. Exactly. So he's marketing to a certain time, you know,
and a certain group of people, right? So,
right. Very smart.
Yeah, find your niche. Speaking of store startups, did you see the X Tools announcement today about
new software?
About their, well, it's like a store, right? What do they call it? Hang on.
Was it like Atom or something? Or
No, there's another one today. The X Tool retail solution. So basically, it's like a store where they have all these X Tool lasers, and you as a person can go in there and you can design something and engrave it yourself.
Huh.
And I assume they have, you know, suitably capable people like the Apple Genius guys, right, to say don't touch that. Right?
So you're saying it's like a maker's place, so you can go and
kind of.
A lot of libraries these days, they have lasers now.
Yeah.
So Monport asked me to sign up for this, and I thought it was so weird because I run my business out of my house. And I know a lot of people do. But like, hey, would you allow someone to come in and test and use the laser? And I'm like, no. Like, it's in my house. It's in
Why
my
would you want
basement.
that liability?
You know, it's in my basement. Like,
Yeah.
that's.
I wouldn't want the
it's-
liability.
Yeah, in reality, they're not paying you to do that, right? So,
Well, actually, they would.
well,
That's what they're trying to.
they aren't paying you enough, right?
Right, exactly. But yeah, well said. Exactly. Now, anyone can make you an offer you can't refuse. And you're like, well, hey, who else cheaper in your house? Don't worry about it.
Anyway, Xtool posted like a 3-minute video on their YouTube page on this.
So that's what it is.
thing.
It's like a maker's thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like an active makerspace, except you're the one making your own design.
So I don't get it.
You go watch their video. You'll see.
What's the point of it then?
I don't know.
Okay.
But they also
anybody
said
know
something
point?
about the software, right?
Yeah, and they do have Atom, which is their new thing. But as near as I can tell, but with Atom, it looks like their design space just rebranded, right? Their design finder, whatever they call the thing. It looks like it's just rebranded with that, with a few extra tools.
I didn't even click on it. I just saw the emails coming through. I was like,
yeah, I looked at it quickly and went, oh, it's just a bunch of designs.
Radu says, even if you don't sell one thing, at least you put yourself out there. You did something. Plus, you probably at least talked to people and vendors and started networking. Networking can definitely be good.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And certainly that very first craft market you do, that's all you're going to be doing, meeting people and building up connections, because you're probably not going to sell much.
So Central said I might try to do some on-site engraving after a few events this year. That'd be cool. I kept saying that, like, that's what I liked about the little Nano Pro, that if you put something that would take way too long to make, just because almost the whole show it's just running.
Yeah.
I mean, because you don't want to go through 100 blanks, right? So something was like,
you have to have a
extremely
smoke
detailed.
purifier though, because you can't exhaust the fumes in an enclosed space in a
Correct. But a lot of these trade shows are outside too. But yeah. But I just thought maybe that the booth next to you is more established. Their things just look way better than you. They've been doing this a long time, and you look like you pulled the table out of your garage and put a sheet over it and put your stuff up there, and you're hoping for sales. The one thing you may have that they have is the laser running, right?
I've seen people do dog tags on the spot.
Yeah.
Customize.
Yeah. I like seeing Henro's idea here. This is kind of like Laser Geek Squad. Do you have Geek Squad? It's
Rent
like,
the laser
Oh
shop.
yeah, there's Geek Squad here at Best Buy.
So you can just wander into somebody's house, plunk your laser and your air purifier down, and engrave, their name on the back of their remote controls or something, whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, rent a laser shop. That's kind of, I guess, what Momport was going for.
Yeah, well, that's I think what Xtool has come up with. But what I don't know is if they're selling like franchises to this. It's still fairly murky. It just popped up today. What I do wonder is if this kind of takes off, is this like the end of people buying a $200 laser and carving out some coasters for somebody, right? Because you can just go there. Why would you go to somebody else, right?
The only thing that I would say is that when most people start off, it's not a full-time gig. It's a part-time gig. So they're probably going to have Monday through Fridays, standard business hours. So not after you get off work. So that would be the sucky part, right? They're not probably open till 2:00 in the morning. When a lot of us are burning the midnight oil sometimes working. At least I know I am for sure.
Yeah. So as Andrew says here, that you don't have to invest in a machine. You can just go to their storefront and say, "Oh, I want to make a logo for a T-shirt, or I want to cut a keychain or something." You can do that.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting.
It'll be interesting to see how it works out.
Yeah. I think that's a good thought, but it's going to be a big support structure.
Well, it's a big capital overhead too, right? Yeah. So, like, I'm just wondering if they're going to sell like franchises or something to this.
Yeah,
like the Xtool engraving store or whatever they call it, retail solutions. Maybe
they'll be in kiosks in the mall. I don't know about you guys, but the malls by us are pretty much being destroyed.
Malls are
knocked
dead.
down.
Yeah, malls are dead now.
Yeah, the two biggest malls near us, one Fox Valley Mall, they completely demolished it. I'm sorry, not Fox Valley, Stratford Mall, they completely demolished it. And Fox Valley Mall, they ripped half it down and built condos. So it's so weird. Like, how would you live in a condo that's attached to a mall? I guess if you're a woman that likes to shop a lot, that's pretty cool. You walk into the mall.
Well,
like, I think that's weird.
Excluding that stereotype, there might be a grocery store in the mall, right?
No.
So you don't have to.
At least not by
just go pick something up on your way home.
I just think it's weird, like that you live in the mall. Like, that's so weird. You know, it's still physically attached.
I was talking with an older gentleman not too long ago, and he's a woodworker. He's been a woodworker for many, many years. And he said when he was young, he used to go and he does a lot of scroll saw work. So he said he would have his scroll saw in the middle of the mall and do live work right there in the mall. And like, how cool would that be, is to go to the mall and see somebody doing like scroll saw work?
Yeah. But it's crazy because these malls now, since they're so dead, the stores are like $500 a month. It's in like a mainstream mall, you know, but that's how you're able to see all these Alibaba stores. And I want to see what happens with that, because it's like all these clothes are like, you know, that's the Alibaba shirt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, see what happens. It's going to be crazy.
Temu Central.
Yeah, exactly. Chris said midnight is for lunchtime for most days. Yeah, there you go. Burning the midnight oil. Sure. What I say, Steve, most people will work 100 hours for themselves and not work 40 hours for someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting better, actually. I'm barely working 40 hours for myself now, because it's like I just need to relax sometimes, right? Usually it's to sit down and think about some future design, but
I always still have plenty of time to relax when I die.
Well, I've kind of set a schedule now. My thing is 6 a.m. to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and after that, it's, unless I'm doing something like this, I'm pretty much just wasting time.
That's kind of my hours too.
Yeah, I work my full-time gig, so after 4 o'clock I work till like midnight.
After working after working for 42 years and getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning, even though I've been retired now for 6 years, I still wake up at that time in the morning.
Yeah.
When I quit work, I actually woke up. I started waking up a half hour earlier than when I did when I was working. So it's like,
I still got a lot to pay my dues.
I go to the shop until it's time to wake my wife up and tell her to go to work.
I'm usually in the shop by 8 o'clock in the morning after I take the kids to school, and I'm out of the shop at 5 o'clock when I have to go cook dinner.
There you go. Centennial said there's a group of people that live in a mall. It's hidden area for 4 years. Oh yeah, I saw that.
I watched that. There was a documentary on that. That was just interesting as hell to watch.
Yeah.
They lived. It was just secretly. It was for years.
Yes, literally inside of a section in the mall. They had a door that accessed the inside, and yeah, they ended up getting caught. But they had furniture. I mean, they were like literally living in there. It was a group of people too.
They had a full kitchen and everything.
Yeah.
Wild.
Too funny.
Yeah, then the zombies came in.
No, I just think it's weird, but there's definitely our economy's changing. I brought that up because just how do you evolve? How do you pivot?
Well, there's two major shopping malls in this area, the Quad City area here. Well, one's called North Park, one's called South Park. Well, the North Park is in Iowa, South Park is in Moline, Illinois. And back in the 70s, when I was a teenager, that was the place to be. I mean, a great place to go get a job. And in fact, one of my first jobs was at Montgomery Ward, which probably nobody knows what that is now.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, you would, yeah, but
it's a furniture store or something, isn't it?
No, it was like a department store, like Sears, which doesn't exist anymore either. But it's just continually gone downhill, and now the latest thing we heard was like a week ago, South Park Mall has been sold again, and it is literally 50% vacant. It has been for a long time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
See,
you guys want to see my latest bust? Everyone kept telling me to make these. I made them, and I've not sold one. Not one. So I'll use them in my garden this year and never make these damn things again. So if anyone tells you to make these, don't make them.
See, those I would only ever make on demand. Well, that's not true.
This was my logic of thinking, Steve. Okay, it's a $22 sheet of plywood. Well, okay, I'll take I don't know, 14-foot strips, and I can make how many out of this? A ton of them. See what happens. That's pretty much what I did, and they didn't sell. So I'll be using these at my house, and these will not be available again.
I made a big pile of them for all the different kinds of tomatoes for someone, and they sold a pile of them, but then I didn't bother after that. I mean, sure they sold, but it's a lot of work to make them, and I'm lazy. Like it's a perfect storm.
Yeah, I must have had 15 people asking to make them, and those some people I'm like, yo, you want to buy this or what? I'll let you know.
If only it came in green.
Like, I'll never make these things again, but
yeah,
whatever. At least I can personally use them and not pitching them in the fire. But yeah, not every sale.
Live and learn.
Yeah,
take a bunch if you go to a craft market. Take them this time of year, like someone will buy them.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I made a porch sign that on one side of it said "Welcome Spring" and the other side says "Hello Summer." It was reversible. You put it on your front porch. It's 4 feet tall and 5.5 inches wide. It was a secret fence picket, and it sold instantly. So I made another one, and somebody wanted that. And I thought, oh God, these things will sell. So I made like a dozen of them. I think I got 10 of them out in the shop yet.
Yeah. You found the only 2 people on the planet that wanted them, and saturated the market.
I made this breadboard that is basically like a slotted cutting board that sits inside of a tray.
Mm-hmm.
So when you cut your bread, all the crumbs falls in the tray. So it has a crumb catcher. And I made it because I have one I made 2 years ago when I started woodworking, and I use mine every day and I love it. So I was like, people are going to love this thing. Haven't sold one yet.
Yeah, what the heck? But that's the thing. That's nice about us actually sharing that, because you see all these YouTubers and every sale or every item is a success, right? So when a person is looking up to you or aspiring to be like you, and they don't realize that, hey, we're real people. Like, we have success and fails. So like, understand that as well, that like everything you create is not going to sell. And just because you don't like it doesn't mean somebody else isn't. Just because they like it doesn't mean you have to like it, right?
Yep. They make great gifts. Whatever doesn't sell.
The only thing I would ever have more than one of in my shop at the same time would be like cribbage boards or something, because they sell pretty well.
Well, Skyler just gave me an idea how to get rid of all them damn porch signs. They're gifts.
Yeah.
So Roger's like, what's your
sign for Christmas?
He's like, hey. Everyone's gonna get a porch sign with a bow on it for Christmas.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody, that's watching out there, just because you make something and you think it's going to sell, it may not. And then other things will surprise you. You'll make something, this is kind of neat, but nobody's going to buy it. And then you got a head on your hands. It's just unpredictable.
The trick there is to not take it personally.
Yeah.
Like the thing that astonishes me is these player boxes that I make for D&D players. It's like, how many of those people are there out there? But I've made dozens of those things, and I don't know why. I don't know why they sell.
Yeah, just fall forward, right?
It's the only thing I make and I sell in any kind of volume.
Yeah,
everything else is a one-off.
If something doesn't sell, don't assume that doesn't mean you can't have success. Just move on, and just take it as you learn something from it, because you definitely learned something from it for sure.
Yeah. So every laser or woodworker should have a wood stove.
So I have something to say in here. What is something that you guys made that you assumed would be a sale that was a complete bust? Let us know in the comments below. Be honest. No one wants to beat on their chest and say, they're making $1 million, but be honest. Let us know what's something you thought was going to be a success, and you just.
And we've all done it. Everybody's done it. You make something and you think, man, it's going to be great, and Well, it wasn't so great.
So for me, it was cigar boxes. I don't mean like a humidor. I mean just like a portable one. You can put a couple cigars in, put it in your pocket, and go. Right. I have probably a dozen of those. I made a dozen. I probably still have a dozen. They're sitting in a bag on my shelf, and I don't know.
It's no different than when you make a YouTube video, right? And you think, oh, this video is great. It's going to do so good. And then nobody watches it. And then sometimes you're rushing through just putting something together and like get so many views.
Yeah, I don't understand the human dynamic for a lot of things, actually.
Whiskey smokers. We had somebody on here that was making those.
Andy.
Yeah.
Andy was.
So
Yeah.
Andy would like, and I'm not talking smack because Andy's a friend, but he would like put all these videos out like, you can be successful in the CNC world. And all she was like showing a lot of was items that he was succeeding in. But the one thing that I kept bringing up was, dude, you live in an area that like is big time tourist area into like whiskeys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you made pink flamingos and you're in Florida and it was like, no one else would sell that. You know what I mean? But like, but I'm just saying is that like, I think he had great success in them. And hey, I'm happy for him. But he lives in a real niche area that's a touristy area for that particular reason. Outside of that area, I don't know if that really is a big thing.
He lives in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's a big, that's bourbon.
Yeah,
Down
but
there.
bourbon, whiskey, it's a fine line, right? And definitely cigar smokers. So,
right.
So it's
all
the perfect
little
place to sell whiskey smokers.
Yeah, all the little trinket stores and the touristy areas, they're gonna have all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But
and Andrew, if you want one of these whiskey smokers, you can come over to my place and make one on my CNC someday.
Yeah, I have no interest in learning to make a whiskey smoker. But yeah. Christmas ornaments. I would say the Christmas ornaments that I'll never think I'll entertain going down that road. And the reason that I'm saying that is because that these Christmas ornaments, it's like, how much time did you put into that? I mean, it looks phenomenal. Like, it looks awesome. But like, I can't sell stuff for $12. Like, it had to have taken you 3 hours to make that, unless you like really have a refined process. Like, that looks.
So the one exception to this is if you do get a Eufy make E1,
there you
UV printer, get a big box full of those little glass things, or get the acrylic ones because the ink sticks better to acrylic than glass, and just pump those things out. You can make, I don't know, a dozen of them in probably 15 minutes.
Yeah, that would make sense. But I'm saying like when they're doing like 1/4-inch plywood and they're layering them and they're painted all different colors.
Oh yeah, it's
great.
Like some of the stuff Skyler makes. It's like, holy cow, how long did that take you? Like, you're gonna sell that for $500?
But I have this double-sided tape from 3M. Is the double-sided tape that they use for veneer.
Yeah,
so you just put it in the back of your thing, you peel off the paper, and you stick it on the next layer.
Yep. Yeah, I use that stuff a lot for mostly acrylic in my case, but same thing. You don't have to try and put sticky things on it after you cut it, right?
There's no comments on your fails, so I know you guys have fails. Come on, man. Be honest. Let us know in the comments. What is something you thought would sell that just was a bust? Let us know. Yeah. Save someone else the heartache. You want to read this one, Steve?
J Bake. I would think getting the word out at something like a board games convention would help things. Like, and this is really where these things kind of caught on. The D&D boxes that I built was there's a big tournament here where I live, about an hour away from where I live, and I started by giving these things away, and all of a sudden, after the first year I did, this is the third year coming up, and I'm going to make some more for them. And after the first year, people were just sending me requests who happened to be there, didn't win one of these things because I only made 4 of them, I think, because they're teams of 4, and they didn't win, so they wanted to get one anyway. And
so about a half mile from my house is a D&D store.
Yeah,
and they sell like drinks, chips, and they just allow people to play there. And it's basically, I mean, there are some adults, but it's mostly high school kids. And I said to my daughter, like, people, that's like a thing. like people like literally like that's a thing. Like they can literally stay in business, and the store's like 3,000. You know, it's big.
So
Like-
so when I was in high school, it was kids playing D&D. Now it's like all the people who are like my age who played in high school are playing again, right? And they're hardcore.
Yeah, deeper pockets. Yeah. But I
And
just
yeah,
couldn't
they got
believe
money. They got money.
I couldn't believe that like that's a full-time store that basically just has snacks and allows you to play in there. And they have these like really cool looking tables. I was like, wow.
And I can say I have never played it. I wouldn't even have a clue how to play it.
Yeah,
Me
it's
neither.
it's an acquired taste. But the guy who runs this tournament that I make these things for, I've been to his house, and he basically ripped his dining room out and put like a 20-foot long table in there with chairs all around. It looks like a conference room. He's got a whole wall full of figures that they use in the game. And I mean, there's easily probably $5,000 worth of stuff in there. And like he's hardcore, and they run every week. They have they play every night, and it's all a bunch
Revenge of the Nerds.
a bunch of old guys, right? Like they're all like 30, 40, 50, 60. Like
That's crazy.
it's no kids.
Captain Ken said, as a beginner in the laser world, I want to get a 5-watt laser for $200 just to add some graphics to my crafts. I'm good with computer programming. Any suggestions?
Yeah, any laser. Go buy the cheapest one on Amazon.
Yeah, or look on Facebook Marketplace. There's always somebody that bought a laser and then gave up on it quick.
Yeah, I would say that for $200, you can probably get a decent sized laser used.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah, don't
$200
buy a
is
new
not
one.
a big. $200 is not a big budget.
If you happen to live near me, I'd sell you one for $200. That's probably worth $1,000. So, because I need space.
Chris said, knowing how to identify local markets help keep sales. For sure.
Definitely.
This is like a new name. So I don't recognize this name.
Gelato Creations. Things I thought would sell but didn't. My body. Oh,
I think there's a song, right? If you want my body and you think I'm sexy.
Well,
Come on, you guys
maybe
remember
I
that.
should recommend my other channel then.
Roger, you were a disco guy. You know that song.
oh yeah. Here's something that just kind of off topic here a little bit, but have you ever had somebody come up, and this is what I call a mental hot foot. You throw at somebody, and they're looking at this. I know you from somewhere. I'll say, oh, you watch a lot of porn? Just the look on their face. The look on their face is priceless.
Chris says, fails equal gifts.
Yeah.
Anybody want a
sometimes.
garden stake? I can give you one.
Unless it's a really big fail, which is why I said every maker should have a wood stove.
Said, I made a lot of phone holders, sold 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are like giveaway things. Especially, so the ones I did a video on it a while back, the one that's made out of living hinge. You know, you start with a piece of plywood and cut it, and then you can bend it all up into the shape of a charger. I give those things away quite often.
Captain
And people
Ken
are
said,
just enthused by the fact that they can take a piece of plywood and flex it, right?
Captain Ken said, I made 10 paper towel holders 3 months ago. Was asking $20. I still have 10. There you go. Well, we're going to have to do on our Facebook group, biggest fail.
Yeah. Post
What-
a picture of your biggest fail.
Yeah. And what I say is because nobody makes anything with the intentions like this is not going to sell, right? But like, what people are going to vote to be like, why did you think that was going to sell?
Well, I like this one here. Tried selling stuff with a Bears logo here in Milwaukee. You know that scene in Frankenstein with the villagers with fire and pitchforks? That was the craft show. That'd be like trying to sell Green Bay stuff in Chicago.
Yeah.
Wouldn't go over well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a picture of my cigar boxes here.
HF Woodcraft said, late to the party, howdy from Georgia. HF Woodcraft, we're sharing our fails. What's something that you thought would be a sale and was a complete bust? We're asking to be honest.
There you go. Let me share this. Because I thought these were going to be great. I don't smoke cigars, but they just seemed like a good idea. Just a little travel thing.
They look cool. I'd give it that.
Yeah,
They look cool.
Is that barrel hinges?
Yes. Like there was some serious engineering involved in these things, and then I could engrave them or something, right?
Right.
Yeah, I was quite disappointed. I mean, tulip wood was a really nice
Oh,
one.
I love tulip wood.
And I even did one that was, let me see if I can find it here. You'll like this one, Skyler, because it's resin.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on, I got
Nice.
there. See? Did some
You do some flocking?
flocking on the inside, and I was very disappointed. Didn't sell any of these.
I love using the barrel hinges. I think they look so sleek.
Yeah. So that was there was one Wenge. I didn't like that one as much. I still have it. If anybody smokes cigars, let me know.
You can have it for $44.99, free shipping.
Well, you pay the shipping, but
J-Bake said, I thought a good product would be popular coming up is a boat to slide over the tapered base of a yacht tumbler,
Yeti tumbler.
which allows the rotary mark at the top portion. I didn't get that, or I read that all messed up.
Oh, the Eufy make? Yeah, so I've actually thought about designing one of these. And one that can handle bottles too, with the skinny necks. Wouldn't be hard to do. I just haven't had time.
Tim said, who says you have to put cigars in them?
Yeah, you could put a big joint in them. I made singles too. I made one with just one cigar, right? And I thought, well, who knows? Like you're going on a weekend trip, you don't want to take the whole humidor with you. You just throw one of these in your pocket, right? No.
This one's good. Steve, you made some really nice hot dog cases.
Well, no, but
hot dogs to go.
with all the failure here, there, as you say, there's always what did I learn? And I learned not to make cigar boxes, but I learned a lot about cigars. There's like crazy standards for cigars, length, the girth. It's like it's
and those hinges. I'm sure that was a learning curve.
The what? The hinges? No,
Yeah.
I'd done those before. They're pretty simple, but they're simple with a CNC because boom, boom, boom. You put
the instructions are like. Make a 6.7 millimeter hole that is 9.8 millimeter deep, 4.8 millimeter from the edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is no adjustment.
I do have a bunch of these, Jim.
There you go. Steve said, do you have an inventory of those cigar boxes? We have a gentleman's cigar lounge opening soon. He might have just unloaded them.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. God knows
Bob
if
Marley
there's some kind of
special
crazy
edition.
tariff on them, but yeah.
HX said, I made a engraved brandy smoker with the logo of a local cigar shop as a teaser. The guy said, okay, more crap. I said, Merry Christmas, and left. Man. What are you going to do? Chris said, I printed a 3D boot for the Yeti. Sounds like the way to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Too funny, though.
Well, Steve, if you ever print one of those for narrow mouth bottles for the printer.
Yeah, I'll just, I mean, it's going to be something that everybody wants, right? I would have done it already, except I had just gotten rid of my my FL Sun printer. And coincidentally, 2 days after I got rid of it, FL Sun contacted me and said, hey, do you want to test the T1 Max? I haven't said yes.
It's crazy. So I just keep wondering, like, how our economy is going to change once Canada becomes one of our states.
Well, we're going to take over if that ever happens.
If anyone doesn't know, it's an ongoing joke that I keep poking the bear at Steve.
You heard our Prime Minister in the Oval Office say, we're not for sale ever. Never, ever.
I like when he gets on the news and he's like, I said this. That they go to the other country, like, we never talked to him. We never had that conversation.
There are definitely some people in this country that I think you guys could benefit from. Mostly politicians, of course, but
yeah,
you can have them. They're all yours.
I think all politicians, or at least most politicians, start off with good intentions, and then the corruption comes in. And
yeah, you heard my mantra on politics, right? I don't think anyone who wants to run a country should ever be allowed to.
Yeah, I don't think anyone who should run a country should be allowed to run a business. Then you shouldn't have a business because it.
Or if you've ever run a business, you should never be allowed to run a country because you'll try and run a country for profit.
Exactly.
Happens.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Yeah, you guys have any questions? Let us know. Thank you for sharing your fails. It was sometimes you gotta laugh at your mistakes, right? And that's all you can do. You know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Jim wants my big boxes, cigar boxes.
So if you learned anything today,
Jim, I'll even give you the drawings for it.
so you can put it on the wall and be like, "Was custom made for this shop."
The CNC files are definitely valuable, but the thing they make is completely worthless, apparently.
There you go, Steve. That's something. I wonder if you could sell the file on Etsy.
Oh, I could. It's something I thought about, but there, Tim will take them. Tim can drive to my house and get them. I don't have to even ship them.
Too funny. Yeah. The other thing too is that when you're making something, don't always take someone's opinion on what your product is worth. You know your own value. Like so many times, like people are close to me, they're like, "Hey, Rick, that's not going to sell for that. You should sell it for this." And I'm like, "No." And I've had yet something that I priced way out the ballpark. I think I kind of underpriced myself because I'm still making a name for myself. And later on the road, I could definitely raise my prices. But right now, I'm just trying to move inventory and get my name known. And every customer brings me customers. But just because your mom or your wife or your brother or anyone tells you, like, no one's going to pay that. If you think they're going to pay that, run with it. You could be shorting yourself a lot of money because you valued somebody else's opinion.
Yeah, free advice is worth every penny.
Jim said he'll take a walk in the AM. He's going to pick him up. Take a talk in the AM. There you go.
Yeah. So
Tim
now
I got my new Tesla.
Yeah,
adapter, so I'm visiting.
Yeah, so he can drive to my place and charge here.
Business owners should be advisors, not actual politicians. I agree.
I really like the next one coming up
for Elon.
The politics bit remind me of what is this?
Groucho Marx. So I don't want to belong to any club that would accept me as one of its members.
Yeah.
And you got to be old to know who the Marx Brothers are.
Well, I know who they are, and I'd like to think I'm not old.
I'm lost.
You gotta watch some Marx Brothers movies.
Groucho Marx, Chico.
From the 30s. Marx. Not that I was around in the 30s, but I've seen most of the movies.
They were a precursor to the Three Stooges.
Yeah. Except they were funny.
I like the Three Stooges.
Yeah. So is Bamboo X1C a good machine? Yes, they are, because there's a couple of them right behind me here.
So why would you say that?
At the moment,
the X1C is the cheaper one, right?
No, that's a high-end one.
Oh.
The P1S is the cheaper one.
P1. Yeah, sorry.
So would you say that it's probably the most expensive or the most high-end, off-the-shelf 3D printer type that you can buy? And what I say about it, it's not like something that a factory uses, but you could have, a farm factory, so to speak, in your home with one.
Well, the X1C is right up there. You're looking at $1,400 or $1,500 a piece for them.
Isn't that what Sam built in for his Samcraft?
He's using the X1s. I have, or not the X1s, the
P1s.
I'm sitting here looking at it. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, the only thing I say about 3D printing is like you can't have one, right? They're so slow.
Yeah, they definitely.
So if you think you're going to base your business around,
the A1s.
A1, yeah, these two. The A1, not the minis. There's two A1s right there.
Yeah, like I'm not saying they're not capable of doing things, but like anyone who has a successful business has anything with 3D printers, what do they have? A lot.
Damn, I just found the drill I was looking for the last couple days.
Oh, hey, that's
all
it,
over
you.
for that.
Right there. There you go, Roger. You're
That's
old.
that's it. I'm sold. I got to get one of these painting cameras because I look for stuff in my shop all the time.
That's funny. Chris said, I asked friends what I think an item would sell for, and then I watch your face and tell how much I'd actually sold it for. Yeah.
Yeah, the pricing thing is always a touchy subject. It's one of my pet peeves because people really want to give stuff away, right? And it frustrates me when I see somebody put like 8 hours of work into something and then sell it for $50. Right?
So if somebody's got X1C on Marketplace for $650, I'd buy it, unless it's like broke or something. I'd have them
cost new?
$1,500
Oh wow, yeah, that's
with the AMS on it. But if somebody's got one for that, I mean, if without the AMS, I think they're about $1,000, $900 or $1,000.
so. As
I
long
have,
as it's working, you could see.
yeah,
it
they would
working.
have to demonstrate it. You know, if I was going to go say, yeah, show me that it works. You know, print a calibration cube or something, just something simple.
There you go. Roger would charge you a small consultation fee to
Yeah.
watch and confirm that it works.
Do a live stream.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, if you're not already a member of our Facebook group, I would highly suggest that you join our Facebook group and share some of your items you've made. Every time I see something that someone shares, I'm just blown away. So, yeah, and feel free to share some fails because, like I said, a fail is definitely something that's gonna make somebody else laugh or make someone else feel human. That they're not the only one that have fails, and don't feel bad if your first what was it? Edison said it was like 10,000 failures equals like one. He had some famous crazy.
Success.
Yeah, but yeah. So you're gonna learn something from it. So how do I get that off?
I was just going to look to see if we had any new members. We were at 450 or something there. What are we at? 464. Wow.
Yeah. Pretty good. Not bad. Skyler, your group's pretty big. What do you got? Like 20,000 or something crazy ridiculous, right?
23, 24.
We got some catching up to do.
I feel like I'm the only moderator, so I feel like I don't have time. I'm spending like, all this time approving, deleting posts and all that stuff. So it's very time consuming. But
yeah. So
just find your most dedicated member and say, hey, can you do this?
I think I have to do that because I just don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
When I first started the group, I started just because people were emailing me all kinds of projects that they were doing and wanted to show me. So I was like, let's make this group. You guys can post it there. I can see it. I'll comment on it. And then it just kind of blew up. And I was like, well, now I don't have time for all of this.
That's very cool. Steven said a lot of talent in the group. Absolutely.
Yeah. He
learned 900 ways not to make a light bulb. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I knew he had some kind of crazy saying. But yeah,
I keep looking at Paul's stuff in our Paul Owen's paintings, his engravings.
What was that? Was it a cat or something? Recently had those lines going off the sides. It was like,
I love that one. I saw it. I was like, that was really cool.
He just does crazy stuff, and it's
share it.
And I've thought about doing a hey, watch me learn how to do this kind of video, but there's just no way I can make this stuff.
I like this one here from Pilato Creations. If shop failures make her human, I'm the most human in the world. And I think that applies to most of us.
Yeah.
So Rick, I saw you posted this downdraft table on our page.
I just thought I saw someone share it online. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's not going to hold anything on a CNC.
No. It's just a dust collector.
Yeah. Yeah, this would be really
for sanding.
I do want to build a vacuum table for CNC, and I'll create a video on that if I ever get around to it.
So yesterday, I joined. What is that company? It's called Weightless. What is it called? The ones who make the main company who makes those vacuum for the CNCs. What is it called?
Oh yeah, there's one. I forget who they
I
are.
forget the name of the company. Anyways, I joined their live yesterday because they said they were going to give one away, and I ended up just dropping. I don't know if they really did give one away or not, but anyways, when they were going through it, the one thing I learned from it is that like they pretty much said like if you have a board and you have to cut all the way through, you're pretty much going to ruin it. And I'm like, well, if you go through to cut it out and hit your spoil board and you throw it away. So if you hit that, it's trash. Like I thought it was kind of a golden ticket, but I don't think I'd ever want it then.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, were they worried that you're going to ruin your spoil board?
No, what I'm saying is that like this literally slides over your spoil board, right?
Yeah.
And then it has all the holes in it. But now you have this piece of wood on top of
that.
that. So when you're trying to cut this out, if you go into this is trash.
Yeah, so that's why it's called a spoil board.
Right, but this is not your spoil board. This is that vacuum seal now.
Yeah, but you make the top of that a spoil board.
The plastic piece?
Well, not their thing. If you make a spoil board,
right?
Or make a vacuum. If you make a vacuum table,
right.
So
right.
what I want to do is make a really thin one.
Yep.
And replace my current spoil board with that.
Right.
And yeah, I'll have to use vacuum system. I'll have a vacuum system, but the top of that will be a spoil board, right? So if you hit it and you're gonna hit it, then but it doesn't have any like this company. I know the one you're talking about. They actually lay things on your spoil board,
right?
And your work sticks to that. Well, yeah, if you drill, if you run through your board and cut, you're going to cut into that thing, right?
Right.
So I don't want to have that.
Yeah. So I thought that was horrible. Then when I thought it was a good idea, like if you're going to cut your board out, you're 100% going to hit it because you're,
Yeah. Well, unless like, you're very precise with your depth measurement.
Yeah, I was like, I forget.
Like you're going to be pretty precise anyway, even if you have a spoil board, because you don't want to be replacing the thing or machining it down every couple of weeks, right?
No, agreed.
My frustration was the spoil board I have on my CNC right now. I put it on, and a guy came and he wanted like a 30-inch long whale cut out of olive wood or something, and the very first cut on that board put about a 1/4 inch shape of a whale on my spoil board.
I looked the other day. I looked at Festool. They have the vacuum clamps.
Yeah, that's what Rick is talking about too.
I went to buy one and I can't find any. And do they not have them anymore? They just seem like they maybe don't sell them anymore.
But this is the problem, right? If you happen to have that on your tool path somewhere, you're going to cut it.
Well, but I don't have a CNC. I just wanted to put my plank on when I route.
Oh,
yeah.
But I couldn't find any. I'm like, what happened to them?
But you're going to get a CNC sometime.
Yes, probably.
You will,
definitely 100%. If I hang out with you guys.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say you're on the live enough.
Wait till Rick gets this Onefinity going, and then he'll say, "Oh my God, this changed my life."
I hope you're right.
Yeah, but the problem is the change will be your wife is now deaf and she's leaving you because you made too much noise.
So I should have bought it sooner, Steve.
I'm not getting involved.
Solved all my problems all in one day. Captain Kent and Skyler, you make some great detailed videos. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Steve will be here all day for marital advice, so I know who needs any.
Yeah, I have lots of acquiring new wife experience.
He also knows divorce attorneys. Jim said, getting more and more into engraving tumblers by case, thinking I would not upcharge the tumblers just to do a tumbler engraving price?
I upcharge tumblers.
Yeah,
The reason being, you're going to make a mistake somewhere. You got to cover it. And
Yeah.
I don't engrave tumblers. We do sublimation on them. I do a lot of them. But yeah, you'll screw one up. The worst one is when I did a custom one for a customer, photographs and everything, and put it on the tumbler upside down.
Oh.
Whoops.
That is now a pencil holder.
You couldn't bear it to throw it away, huh? You're like, screw that, I'm using this cup.
It's
Yeah.
a pencil holder for you, right? Not the
Yeah,
customer.
exactly.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to look at his family upside down?
Well, if you store the tumbler upside down, it'll look fine.
Yeah, Kevin said if you lose suction, you'll lose suction if you cut into their pad. Yeah, that was the point of me kind of like, man, there's no room for margin of error. Like it's that thin, then I just thought it was
they're like little discs with a vacuum hose coming out of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, and they're hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
So you ruin one pad section costs you $500 versus throwing a piece of wood away. I don't know. I think I'll be using double-sided sticky tape. There it is. This is what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah,
I would use an air weight system. That's exactly what I was talking about. Air weight, yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't master onion skins first.
Yeah, this is you measure your board down to the 1/10 of a millimeter, and that's how deep you cut.
Yeah, that's crazy to me though. Yeah.
And hope your spoil board's flat, not like the one on my Reno that is about 20 thousandths low in the middle.
Yeah, that's why you need a flattening bit.
Well, it wouldn't matter on this. It's a poor design. It just sagged right in the middle.
Oh. Put a little prop in the center of it underneath.
You
Now,
said they sell sticker
it.
sheets. Sticker sheets that replace the MDF underneath that replace not too expensive. I just thought like,
what's wrong with screws?
I just thought as cool as it was, I could see you damaging it way too easily.
Oh yeah.
And it can be really expensive to fix. And I thought if they could make it out of wood, that would be phenomenal. Like you were saying, to come up with your own design, Steve.
Yeah, well, like us, even if you just have a spoil board, right? It's 3/4 inch MDF. You're probably going to spend $40 to put one on there, and guaranteed, like it's got spoil right in the name, right? Like you're going to ruin it. That's its job. So it's not an insignificant cost to change the spoil board either, especially if it's like mine where you have a hole, like a dog hole every 50 millimeters, right? Or 100 millimeters.
Yeah, CNC is part of the addiction path. We keep saying lasers are the gateway drug.
Yeah.
And then CNC is once you're really hooked in. So it looks like we're at time, guys. We're at 8:30, actually 2 minutes over.
We were late last week.
Oh, okay.
We were 10 minutes late.
Yeah, so thank you, everyone. Appreciate everyone joining the live. Appreciate everyone joining from all over. I appreciate you sharing your fails and admitting your fails publicly to other people because that will definitely uplift others. Do you guys want to say anything on a closeout?
See everybody next week.
Yeah, I hope so.
Week.
I just saw the comment there about the Eufy printer from Clack and Ventari. My ink is my new ink is coming tomorrow. So, did you get yours already, Skyler?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, mine's coming tomorrow. So I have hope because I ran out of yellow today. First time I ran out of a color cartridge. Anyway.
Well, good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.
See everybody next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks. Yep, bye.